Hello, everyone. My name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today's a bit special. I want to talk about VITAL ALGO. Full disclosure, this is a sponsored video. However, VITAL ALGO is a sponsor, a partner of the channel, and I want to show everyone how I use this and how I gain an edge using this tool. I think that Vital Algo is a great indicator. It's actually a suite of indicators. And any indicators of this kind that you use and that you use in complement to your actual sort of chart analysis will give you an edge, right? And I'm going to talk specifically about Vital Algo in this video and how Vital Algo gives me my edge. So I'm going to go through an example. Trading Bitcoin. Right now, I'm on the 1 minute chart. That's only because I was counting this correction out and I was doing Elliott wave subwaves, okay? So let's get into it and we can talk more about exactly what's going on. So I like to trade reversals, and whether it's a two-wave breakout, right? If you know anything about Elliott wave, a two-wave is a corrective wave, or a four-wave breakout, or a ABC correction after a five-wave impulse in either direction. I love getting in at the bottom. I love the idea of being first to the party. I know that can be risky, right? When you're wrong, because it can go, if the correction is not finished, it'll go in the direction that you don't want. It's a little safer getting in the middle, but I don't know why I'm a sicko. I like to get in at the absolute bottom, and it's been difficult sometimes for me. Anyway, so that's basically what I'm focused on in my trading. That's my style. And so when I see this big W reversal that Bitcoin did, I got excited. We got a little bit of a breakout here. And I saw volume. I saw big green candles, bullish engulfing candles. I was happy. For me, that seemed like a one wave. I know that what comes after is a two wave, and a two wave is corrective. And usually any correction comes in the form of an ABC, or it can come in the form of an ABCDE. You can get kind of complex with these Elliott wave corrections, right? So I go on, very small time frame. That's why I was on the 1 minute chart, and I'm counting these waves and subwaves out, right? And this is my count for the ABCDE correction. So at the E correction, I knew that we were in an uptrend. Why is this all important? It's because, I've spent countless hours working at this, learning this skill, making these counts, trying to make them as accurately as possible, but no real way to confirm their validity. That's where Vital Algo comes in. This is where I use Vital Algo. Let's go on the 5 minute chart because I like working on that with the indicator. And let me turn the indicator on. And just takes a second to load. This is fully integrated into TradingView. It's just another indicator. And here you go. There are 3 things I've got going on. It's really busy. I know. I'm typically very conservative with my charting. I like clean charts. I typically only use stock RSI, stochastic RSI, support and resistance, chart patterns, and, my Elliott wave counts. It's pretty much it, right? And maybe a volume bar here and there. And in crypto, volume isn't always that reliable. So, a lot of times I'm not even looking at the volume, to be perfectly honest with you. So anyway, back to our example. I looked at this Elliott wave of the two wave, right? The two wave correction. And now I want to confirm my count with this indicator, right? And again, an indicator should not be used on its own. It should be used in confluence or in corroboration with something else, right? If the indicator says it's going up and it doesn't go up, It's not the indicator's fault, it's your fault, because technical analysis is nothing but probability, right? And every single one of these functions in this indicator has a probability in the documentation, right? They backtest it and they say this is 73% accurate, this is 83% accurate, whatever. If it's statistically significant, right? If it's giving you more often than not the proper kind of call, then it's useful. Okay. And what I like about Vital Algo is that they do not pretend to make buy and sell calls, right? They don't label. Right now I have the abbreviations on just because I like to take as little space up as possible, but they don't say this is a buy, that's a sell, right? They're very clear in saying SU stands for a strong uptrend, for instance. D stands for downtrend. R stands for reversal. R minus stands for reversal in the, to the downside, for instance, right? Nowhere will you see buy, sell. And, a lot of other indicators do say that, and it's kind of misleading because, one, they're not 100% accurate. No indicator is. And two, because they're not 100% accurate, you can get wrecked just watching the calls and listening to that buy and sell signal, right? At the exclusion of any other kind of charting technique. So right here, what do we have? We have these bands. These bands I love because they show you historically where supply and demand zones are. So the green, supply zones, basically where people are buying. Red, supply zones where people are selling. Okay, that's super, 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 super useful. Okay, the squares to the right, here you see dark pools or institutional sort of activity. And that only works on the big coins, the larger coins with lots of data, with lots of institutional activity like Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Cardano in the future, maybe Solana or something like that. But the big coins, you should use this on, but not the small ones. And now I already told you what the R minus stands for. It says the R minus is actually an indicator that shows reversals, and it tries to predict it. Because it tries to predict it, it's a little more risky. It can be wrong more often than the SU or U and the D, which is the downtrend and uptrend signals, which are lagging indicators. They actually wait a bit for the trend to happen. And obviously you can kind of fine tune these signals, the sensitivity, or you can just tell the indicator to auto optimize it, right? I have these up and down trend signals set to 4, I believe, because in the documentation it says that 4, it serves as less of a lagging indicator for at least buys, but then for sells, it can be wrong on that 4 setting. Anyway, you can just automatically set it. They have a Discord. You can discuss and ask questions for how exactly to use it, how other people use it. But go over the documentation, visit the Vital Algo YouTube and look at what they're saying and how to use these most properly, because it's one thing to get the indicator. You can't be lazy about this stuff, guys. Like, if you want to make money and you want this to work, you have to put a little bit of effort into learning how to use it properly, or else it's not going to work, or it's not going to work as well as it could. Okay, so let me actually hide my wave count just to make this less messy. And here, you saw that. Here, let me hide the Vital Algo indicator for 1 second. Let me just show you this one thing. So yeah, I'm support and resistance, a few EMAs. You see my 3 EMAs. I have a 21, 55, and a 144. I like Fibonacci numbers because that's mathematics. That's like, that stuff is next level. I don't exactly know why it's so magical, but those numbers are magical. So for instance, in the Vital Algo settings, I made it so that the indicator uses EMAs, not moving averages. EMAs are less laggy than moving averages, extended exponential moving average rather than moving average. And instead of the 20 and 50 that are default, I made the 21 and the 55 be the default because, again, those are Fibonacci numbers. And also I changed the colors. Like there's one little setting where by default they change the colors of your candlesticks, and I turn that off because I don't like that. I like my green and red candlesticks, just regular guy. Okay, so I drew this trend line here for my descending triangle, and I like connecting wicks. I think all price action is legitimate, and so that's what I did. So I connect at least 2 wicks. I have 3 touches, so that's a legitimate trend. So clear descending triangle. We have a breakout here and a retest, and boom, we're gone, right? And that's how I traded this. I got in at some point down here. I laddered in, and I kept laddering in when I saw that we're making a descending triangle, okay? And I set my stops at the base of the triangle, okay? Stop loss at the base of the triangle. Now, what's my target? My target is going to be the pole, so the pole of this triangle, and superimposed to the site of breakout, which would be over here. So my target would be 46,391, okay? So that's my target, okay? And what I would do typically is I would take my Fibonacci and say this is a 1 wave. I know that Elliott wave theory states that the 3 wave, which comes after the 2 wave, obviously, it should hit between the 1.618 and the 2 of the 1 wave, right? So that's confluence right there. My target, my technical target of the pattern gives me 46,391, and my Fibonacci says it's between 1.618 and 2, so we're all good there. Now, what I do with Vital Algo, how I use Vital Algo. Did you see? I just used, all my skills and, Fibonacci and some Elliott wave analysis and some chart patterns. But now let's turn on the Vital Algo and let's see. Let me just get rid of this. Let's see how I would use this indicator to find confluence to corroborate my initial analysis. And that's how you properly use indicators, people. You have to use them in conjunction with other kind of methods, or else you're going to get wrecked eventually. You may make it out sometimes, but you want to play the probabilities. The more information you have, the higher probability you're going to be right. So we have buy zones here, right where I set my stop loss, okay? So my stop loss is at the base of the triangle, and we have the same kind of information from the Vital Algo that's saying that at this base you get buyers, and here you got a strong uptrend, which basically foretold, or I guess it indicated a breakout, right? Strong uptrend. It did that a few times, right? So it thought it was going to break out a few times, so you knew it was coming, right? It's not perfect, but here, let's go on the 15-minute chart, make it a little less noisy. Give it a second to populate. Here we go. So you have your big green box of supply. So I kind of know, one, that if I'm thinking that this is a bullish pattern, it's confirmed by this huge green buy box underneath my pattern of consolidation, right? Like the idea of the price running back down and this being a reversal pattern is low, given this thick supply box under it, right? And these strong uptrends, indicating that, okay, price is likely to go up eventually, right? So on the 15-minute chart, it's a little more accurate, where it only gave you 2 strong uptrends, and basically the first one was the breakout, and this is essentially the retest that it just printed on the 15-minute time frame. Now, the downtrend is essentially the retest right here, and this downtrend is just the general downtrend of consolidation. Okay, and the Vital Algo indicator correctly predicted both the one wave, the start of the one wave at the bottom, basically the second candle. So the first hammer candle, it didn't print it. The second candle on the 15-minute time frame, it printed that uptrend, right? So that's a proper, what, 5-6% move that it gave. And from there, from the top, it basically, after the first candle, so from the second candle of the sort of two-wave consolidation, it printed a reversal. Do you see the power here? We know this, right? Anybody who knows basic charting knows, okay, kind of what's going on, but this gives confluence. Some days you're hazy. Some days, your count's off. Some days, I don't know, you know these rules, you know these principles, but you just make stupid calls, and then you make orders based on that, and you lose, you get stopped out. This helps prevent that. This will save you a lot of money, right? So reversal here, boom. Downtrend, like we said, strong uptrend. We know that it's going to pump, okay? Another thing that I love, I'm a support and resistance guy. These trend lines, it gives you two. First, it gives you a trend line, a red trend line, which is supposed to designate price is likely to get rejected from this trend line. And the green trend line is basically saying price is likely to get supported on this trend line, okay? But for me, trend line's a trend line, right? If you're beneath it, it's resistance. If you're above it, it's support. So just like I drew my triangle from wick to wick, right? This is exactly doing the same thing. This is, computer generated. This is the algorithm that's printed this trend line showing exactly what I did manually, the descending triangle, okay? So it did that. I didn't do anything for it. I just said draw trend lines, right? And it's showing you the green trend line, like I said, showing where if price gets above this, it's going to find support on it, okay? And this is pretty steep. What's the other thing? Oh, yeah. Let's look at this high institutional and dark pool activity. So I know that if price went down, actually I was using this on a 5-minute time frame in order to set my stops and to see how low it could possibly go. That was very useful to me. And one of the things traders hate, I don't like getting stopped out. I don't know anybody who likes getting stopped out. I try to train myself to like getting stopped out because that's good risk mitigation. But at the same time, we never like getting stopped out. If your stops are too high or too low, whatever, you're like, damn it. And if it bumps and runs, meaning the price goes, hits your stops, and then continues in the direction you thought, it's like, I hate that feeling, right? So I looked at this. I saw that there's high activity expected, meaning historically there's high activity, high institutional activity here. It could be buying or selling, but given the narrative around this setup, it's likely going to be a buy. So I set my stops right below this, right? So that's how I used it on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, let's go back to the 15. Let's go and see how I'm using it for my take profit. So again, I use my take profit. This is the pole of this descending triangle. And I can see that, okay, we have our trend line coming up here. So you see the confluence. Basically, I don't expect my profit, I don't expect price to go anywhere above 47,169 because of this trend line, right? Obviously, it's a green, so it's where price will find support, but we're below it, so it's going to serve as resistance. So I hope everybody sees how useful this can be, but you got to kind of know what you're doing. So don't think there are any shortcuts necessarily. Use this to give yourself that extra edge, that extra kind of edge to beat the market. And I hope you guys are profitable. Link in the description below for Vital Algo, my referral link, and I think you get a special deal from clicking on that. Good luck trading. I hope you guys are profitable. Change your lives, change the lives of others around you. All right, peace.